my customers. I'm gonna post this video live on YouTube. Hello, everyone. And I know you sound like you just finished waking up, so my bad if it's at the wrong time for you.
No. I'm up.
You up?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've been up for a while. Yes, sir. I've been up for a while.
That's what's up. All right, cool. So this is I'm gonna be making these testimonials more often now for people to see how we work, how you first found out about us, and how what you got with our service. And it's more transparency for people to see what we did for you and your experience with us and our company. So let me get my partner John on the line, and we do this real quick, okay?
All right, yes, sir.
Hold on. Hey, Brian, what's going on? Do you hear me well, Brian? All right, cool. Thank you. All right, we're going to do this testimonial on a customer who got started with credit repair. So excited because I'll be making more videos like this coming soon. All right. This phone call was supposed to be at 12. Hey, John, I got Dante on the other line. All right. Okay. So, okay, Dante. All right, cool. So I have John on the other line, and John has been my partner with credit repair since 2012, but he's been doing this for like 15 years. I've been doing this for like 10 years. He's really the brains of it all. You come through because you probably seen my social media, which that's what I do. I do social media on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I'm all over the place. And all the results videos that you have seen have been of myself and John's work. So John's on the other line. Want to introduce John. And, where did you find us in the process of doing this?
I found you on Instagram, and I followed you I want to say for about a year or so.
Oh, wow.
Before I decided to go ahead and reach out to you.
Okay.
So, Dante, this is John. How are you?
Hey, John, how you doing?
Not too bad. Merry Christmas. Well, yeah, Merry Christmas late. But I guess the question is, and this is just since we're all on the phone together trying to get a little bit of an idea, in the course of that year that you were following Gizzy on the Instagram page, what actually inspired you to actually decide to move forward? Like what is it that finally, because there's a lot of people that follow him for long periods of time and still try to make the determination, and for us it's difficult to rationalize why it would take somebody that long. But along the same lines, obviously
they're on mute.
Comes to a point of comfortability.
Do you guys hear me well? Do you guys hear the conversation well? I need to know.
My question is, how do you arrive after a year at it being the right time to, you know what I mean, after seeing all the results and the videos and stuff?
Honestly, it was all of the results that he began to post. Just seeing how people would have in the low 500s, they would be in the 6 and 7s in like 3 to 6 months. Just consistently watching that, it was like, okay, let me go ahead and give this a try. I was in the low 5s, so.
Yeah, and you just, like we were talking about, you just got them closed on your house a couple weeks ago, right? You had just bought a new house?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just bought a condo. My interest rate is in the low 3s. I got a great deal, and it's all because of the work that you're doing or that you've done.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. That's great news. So, how long? And it took? I think you started, just so we can get a little bit of a better understanding. I think you closed on your house in November, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and then you started the mortgage process, in October, I believe, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you started with us, I believe, towards the end of, was it August? Does that sound right, August?
Yeah. Yes, sir, okay. Around August, yes, sir.
So you figure August, September. So about 2 months it took us to get you ready. Now, did you go FHA, your mortgage?
Yes, I did go FHA, yes.
Okay, good. So, we were able to get you inside, 2 disputes, able to get you FHA ready. That rate sounds spectacular. Low 3s is a beautiful thing, especially locked in for 40 years.
Yes, sir.
So I don't think you could have got much better than that. But I mean, it is It is great. I mean, obviously, you've been a great client. You've been very patient. You let us do our work. And now, we're just finishing up with a little odds and ends. In your particular instance, where everybody's a little different that come to us for mortgages, your situation was you came in and you wanted to close on the house right away and then let us finish whatever little odds and ends we need to finish, which we're taking care of as we speak. Some people come in would rather us get everything done and then go do what they need to do. You took the quicker path, which obviously, now you're sitting in your new beautiful house in time for both holidays, which is awesome. So,
bought a house. Started
really
August. Bought
that.
a house.
If you don't mind, I mean, what would you say thus far in the process, or some pros and cons of working with us that you've experienced so far? I mean, feel free to be brutally honest. I mean, this is more of a full transparency situation.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I don't have any cons. Everything is a pro. Whenever I asked a question, you answered it right away, with detail. And what you said you were going to do, you did. And that was big for me. Having someone that's, a man of their word is huge. So I don't have any cons at all.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's if you don't mind, and again, it doesn't need to be today, whenever your schedule allows, because obviously we're in holiday time. If you could send a picture over, just because we since we want to be able to tie in, a visual for some of the potential people. Same way you came to start, and the results were very important for you as a determining factor in getting started. We'd love to be able to kind of show off your results. If you don't mind sending a picture over of your condo or whatever, if it's the outside or whatever, just so we can kind of button it all up together, so people can get a full idea of exactly, what we're describing in the context of this conversation, and then they can kind of, hopefully visualize themselves in that position at some point in time to decide they want to get started.
Yes, sir. I'll send it over.
Dante, I know that you in Virginia, and most of the DMV people that we've come through for, they're trying to get security clearance or are, in the military or police officers. And at one time I remember that someone didn't send me their results because they were afraid that I was to say my name, their baby mama will know who they were. So they didn't send me their results. And they were like, no, I don't want her to take more money from my child support. So if you owe child support, I'm not going to say your name.
Yes, sir.
Are you good? Are you good with that? I mean, are you okay with us sharing your results?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good with you saying my name. Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Is there something else you wanna talk on, John?
No, I mean, I think I just wanted, Dante, I appreciate you allowing us to kind of share your experience. Some people are really good and they encourage us doing that. Some people are a little more, like Gizzy was saying, a little more, keep to themselves low key, or for any number of reasons they don't like you. So I want to say thanks for letting us share the experience. Along with that, obviously this is just the beginning. So this is getting you back on the right footing. You got the big priority knocked out of the way. So now as we work through whatever little odds and ends are there, we'll start weaning down whatever little other financial goals that you have. So if you have any that you need us to assist you with till we wind you down entirely, and then kind of set you off on your own at that point. And if you're obviously more than welcome to come back when if you need us at any point in time. But is there anything we can answer for you while we're on before we let you go?
Oh, no, sir. No, sir. I just want to say thank you guys for everything. I really appreciate all that you've done.
No, it's our pleasure. It really is. You've been a great client so far. We look forward to finishing this up for you. And
were you a referral by any chance, Dante? Or you just saw the Instagram post, right?
Yeah, I just saw it on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't been posting much because, with the baby and all, it's hard to post. But, you see me every day still. That's the one thing about social media is constantly every day, that we're here.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yes, sir.
That's true. That's what's up. So what are you up to today? What are you up to this weekend?
Well, I'm in Pittsburgh now visiting with my grandmother for the holidays, and I'll head back home Saturday, but just taking it easy.
When you get back home, is there anything that you need to do to the home, or did you buy a foreclosure? I mean, did you buy a short sale? Did you buy what type of property you bought?
Yeah, so I bought a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, and mostly everything that needed to be done, I've done already. I remodeled my kitchen, and I'm in the process of remodeling the bathrooms. But other than that, it was ready to go, moving ready.
Did you see the type of loan that you had? That was it a 203K loan, or was it someone that you had money put to the side for the fixing?
No, that would be the same thing. That would be a 203K loan. But you just went straight up, didn't you, Dante? You just did a straight up to the conventional loan, right? You're just coming out of pocket for whatever you're doing as far as the repairs, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Those 203K loans, I mean, they're good, but they're lengthy. So I mean, they can. If you got the cash, sometimes it's a little easier just to do it. So I'm sure that's probably why you went that route. As far as just alleviating the process, you got it closed pretty quick too. I mean, you closed that loan 3 weeks, something like that. I mean, I remember you telling me you don't. And then you got it done quick. So I mean, that's a beautiful thing that it got done so quickly. And I'm sure the credit being in the position where it was at, got some hair off of it, which maybe
credit repair. We do have a trade lines contact.
I'm sure you're in contact too.
I've been dealing with him for like 3.5 years, and I have another contact in California as well.
We do appreciate
you can email me.
Time out. I know this is mostly
GizzyCredit@GizzyCredit.com.
Christmas and New Year.
And that's for the trade lines contact.
Sounds like you're with family, so definitely enjoy yourself. Enjoy your New Year. If we don't talk to you, and whenever you get a chance, please send over that those visuals that we can share with our community, just giving them a better idea of what you've accomplished so far.
All right. Thank you so much.
You got it.
Dante.
Hey, John, stay on the line.
All right.
Take care, Dante. Enjoy the holidays.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
All right. Yes, sir. You too.
Bye-bye. Okay, John, you there?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm on YouTube Live, and guess who I have on YouTube Live? I have people from back in the day who purchased our professional credit repair system: Brian Taylor, John Michael Argentine, Mohammed Ubakar, Antonio Davis, SV Sounds, Steph, New Jersey, from Stephanie, the girl from 609 area code that we talked to, who started a couple of months ago. These people are our current customers or have dealt with us in the past. So
half of them are current clients. And some of them are from the past. Yeah. So
thank you so much for logging in. I'm gonna do an intake call in 5 minutes with John for a customer who got started in the credit repair process. So you guys are seeing from the point to where this customer got what he wanted to a new customer who's about to start. Okay, so the education part, the quick response, the seeing me on Instagram all the time, doing credit repair, giving people credit repair results. This customer was following us for 1 year. Okay, so if you guys can have the patience, I know some of you guys have been our customer for a while, but you're gonna get there. We're gonna put you there. And then you're going to be, okay, cool, I got what I needed. And then we continue to work on whatever it is that you still have. Maybe some minor collections or anything like that, John? Because for each thing is different, right? For if you want to get
each client is different. Everybody's different that comes to us. I mean, and we explain in the intake call, everybody that comes through with a unique file. And as a result of that, gets a extremely unique result. Sometimes it takes a little more work. Sometimes we can get them done quick. A lot of times the ones we get done the quickest are the ones that come to us first. I mean, that's just the way it works out. I mean, if nobody else has touched it and we're the first ones to lay hands on it, they're normally the files we can run through pretty quickly. But in any event, like you said, we work until we're done. And, we do our best to try and set the expectation.
Correct.
Walking in, and the expectation being that we're not going anywhere. We're going to work until we're done with this. Try and be patient. Knowing that the people on the other side are on your team. We're not enemies. We're certainly not rivals.
This is a team sport.
Exactly. I mean, look, it's an emotional process, right?
Correct.
Credit repair is an emotional process. Everybody has, their goals and objectives earmarked, and as a result of that, it's completely understandable for people to have some highs and lows if things take a little bit longer. And we understand that, but the purpose of us doing these intake calls is in large part to set an expectation, right? So if we can do our best to try and set some kind of middle of the road expectation, and then earn the trust from the client throughout that process, because they'll see results and they'll see things get done. and they'll see the communication, and they'll see the 9 o'clock at night emails, and the Saturday at 2 p.m. and the holidays when we're working in an effort to try and clearly communicate and get everything across properly, and do the best we can to make them feel comfortable and know they're in the right hands as far as getting this done. Leapfrogging from company to company just because it takes longer is not the way to get moving in this business. Unfortunately, it's just not. People think, the lack of patience sometimes can lead to more damage. And if you're able to identify a company, I mean, like we said before, I mean, we talked about this previously, but I mean, we're almost 10 years into this, almost 10,000 clients. So
correct.
If it's taking us some time to do this, imagine how long it's taking somebody that's maybe not as versed,
correct,
or as educated, or as knowledgeable, or as focused, or as efficient as we are as it comes to this craft. You're going to be bouncing around from company to company, and you're not really going to get to the place that's going to be able to finish you for a multitude of reasons. But obviously, with us coming in, the goal is to get everybody done. Everybody comes in, unique with a unique file. And, the one constant, like we always say in the intake call, is that we work until we're done, and we're going to work until we're done. And obviously, we're a goal-focused company, so we don't just come in just to get it to 700.
No.
And then help position for whatever type of financing the individual is trying to get, whatever reason they came to us, if they want our assistance with that. So at the very least, we can position them for that. But if they need our help with that, we can do that too. So
and not only that, we have the $99 system where, some customers who started with us, especially people in California who purchase our credit repair system, they use it for themselves, they get results. And someone who started last week used it on his girlfriend, but now he doesn't want to dedicate the time to do it for his girl. So he's like, she's the one that's going to eventually buy a house with him. So he's letting us fix her credit. And how does he know me? Because he purchased our system, he fixed his credit. He doesn't want to deal with fixing her credit. So he said, I'd rather you do it. And she started the other day.
Yeah. No, I mean, the $99 system is a good system.
Correct.
It just, because it's all paper, sometimes it can take a little bit longer. And I think his point was that he was able to get his where it needs to be. But the problem is it just took a little bit longer, and he just doesn't have the patience and time or the energy to want to follow up and kind of do what's necessary. Plus, I think there was some disconnect in that when he was doing it, which caused it to take longer. So, I mean, although the 99 system's great and it's made for consumers, it's made for people that technically maybe can't afford to have somebody like us do it.
Correct.
Keeping them on the right path so they're not out doing things inappropriately or incorrectly that could cause more damage. You could easily parlay it into doing other people and your family stuff. Because, I mean, we get those emails all the time at the support relating to, them wanting to help other family members and how many other family members they've helped with it and how it's, the system's good, et cetera. So, they can do it either way. I think for the sake of time and the sake of simplicity and the sake of making sure, anybody could buy or sell their own house. Anybody could, fix their own plumbing if they really wanted to.
Correct.
But the purpose is you hire a professional to be able to do it so it gets done right, it gets done appropriately, and it gets done timely. So I think that's the focus and the kind of the mentality behind the people that allow us to do it. Because they just want to make sure they get it done right, they get it done appropriately. And then in a lot of cases, I'd say 90% of the time with these clients that come through to us is and they let us walk them through the financing side of it, which in a lot of cases, because it's a bit of a predatory environment out there on the lending side, in some places, that it's a lot easier having somebody on your side on the lending side too, and kind of walking you through the right places to get it and then position you in the right rates and terms, et cetera.
Professional credit repair system is $2,000. You learn how to do everything exactly like we do it.
I mean,
we'll have another call about that later on too.
Early on with a lot of the clients that come through, I think it's building the trust and then just growing the trust from there as we take them into all different avenues of financing once they're done and so on.
Okay. John, let me call Eric right now.
Yep.
You sent me two numbers. The one ending in
the second one.
The second one.
It's the second one.
I'm gonna call him right now. Hold on.
All right.
This is another customer who started credit repair. We're going to have an intake call with him, which is what we do with every customer who starts the process with us. Hopefully he picks up. We're very, at 12 o'clock, boom. And at 12:30, boom, even 1 o'clock. But we prefer 12 and 12:30. Eric.
Hello. What's up, man?
Hey, it's Gizzy. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm just sitting here bullshitting on my phone.
All right. Well, damn, I got you on YouTube Live right now. I just finished having a customer who started the process and he already bought a home. And I wanted to do this intake call with you, which is what we do with each customer who starts the process. I want to know if it's okay if we got, talk about your experience of how you got started with us.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, great. So I have John on the other line, and John is the person who handles all of my emails.
Gizzy, I can't hear anything.
Okay. You can't hear anything? I can hear you good. You hear me?
No, stop it. I can hear Eric. I can't hear Gizzy.
John, you hear me now?
Yeah, it's breaking up.
Okay. Okay, you guys hear me now? Hello, hello? Yep, I hear you. All right. Sorry, people. This is live. Okay. You hear me now? Hello, hello. Hello, hello.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. You hear me good? I'm going to give you a call right back. Technical difficulties. Sorry, this is live. Let me call him right now. Again, call him first. Connection was lost. All right, cool. So we're going to call Eric again. Sorry about that.
All right, can you hear me now?
I can hear you well. Yes. So you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let me get John. Hold up. John. Okay.
Hello?
Okay, you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Merging the calls in. Okay, Eric.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, Eric, I see that you have a Georgia number.
Yeah, around Savannah area.
Savannah, Georgia. There was a time where John and I stopped taking Georgia customers for like 3.5 years.
Yeah.
And we said we never gonna take a customer from out there because there was one time in 2014 where like 5 people in Georgia did us dirty. And we're like, yo, that state, we can't. We're losing money doing credit repair in that state. But anyways, John is my partner. All the results that you've seen on my YouTube videos, Instagram posts, Facebook posts has been his credit repair results. He's really the brains of it all. I'm the more of the social media aspect of the business. And we'd like to do these intake calls to put a voice to the emails. Let you know who's helping you out. If you have any questions for us, we can answer for you and let you know that you got a team in back of you who take a stand for you and wants to help you out. All right, so I'll let John speak to you on your process of how you got started, and if you have any questions for us, you can ask us. Okay.
All right.
Hey, Eric, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good.
William,
So we
what's
got all
good?
your paperwork over on
This is the
Christmas
intake
Eve.
call.
I know we were emailing back and
Antonio,
forth on Christmas
text
Eve. We
message
were able to
me
get everything submitted around 8 p.m. roughly.
Your email
Send you some
address.
screenshots just notifying you. Now, we
I'll send you my
our
info right
inquiry
now.
goes through the mail. So we uploaded your Experian dispute, which we sent you a copy of that screenshot. Yeah, and we put together the disputes for Equifax and TransUnion to be mailed. So they should be received. I mean, we are around the holidays, but chances are they'll be received probably Monday. Maybe sooner, but I would think Monday if I'm setting a reasonable expectation. So the bureaus communicate with you the way you communicate with them. So for instance, since we're mailing it, they're going to mail you back those results. Okay, so chances are, given the amount of inquiries that you had that we're working on in your instance, they're going to probably run it. Typically, inquiry disputes get done sooner than account disputes, but they'll probably run it about 2.5 weeks from when they get it, which full turn, meaning from the minute you submit it to us to when you get it back, will probably be about 3.5 weeks in total that the initial dispute will take. Now, once we get confirmations from you that all 3 disputes have completed, just by, let me go back for a minute. Your only responsibility throughout the process is just to remember to forward us everything you get. So that stuff that's going to come over to you through the mail relating to.
I can take a picture and send it through the email.
Exactly. That'd be great. Yeah, if you could do that, that'd be great. So, and then we can configure it on our end. So once we get confirmation, all 3 disputes are completed. We'll send you a breakdown after the first round, what was removed, what's left, etc. And if we have to go back in, we do so within 24 to 48 hours, if not the same day. So just get in the habit of forwarding that stuff over to us. The one thing we do ask, though, which we try to impress the most, is just to try to have as much patience as you can. We have the same goal in mind here, to get this done as soon as possible. The disputes themselves take time. It takes the majority of the time just waiting to get the results back. But everybody comes to us with a unique file. Everybody gets a unique result. So the one constant is that we work until we're done, and within each dispute we're submitting, we're doing so with the objective of getting all the negative accounts off. So with that in mind, I'm saying in your case, the increase. With that in mind, we do encourage you, though, if any questions come up, you have any questions, confusion, frustration, etc., please don't hesitate to reach out to either myself or Gizzy. We're both very big on communication and transparency. The only day we don't work is Sunday. Other than that, if you send an email, you'll get something back if it's a reasonable hour to, within a couple minutes, and you'll get an in-depth answer to an in-depth question. Or if it's a simple question, you'll still get a very clear answer as far as, and we'd rather you come to us, get the right answers, and go looking for the wrong answer, which in a lot of cases can compound or perpetuate an already confusing situation. So definitely utilize the support if you have questions. It's there for a reason. We work into the price of the service. If you don't have any questions, obviously don't feel forced. Just know that it's there for you should you need to utilize it. We like to do these intake calls just as an introduction, kind of let you know who's working in your stuff, give you a little bit of the lay of the land and a bit of an expectation, and most importantly, answer any questions. So is there any questions that I can answer for you now as it applies to the service we're providing for you, or just anything in general credit related?
In general, yeah. The collections I have on there now, when y'all dispute them, do y'all do it over like online? Because I know that's a faster process. Like the people I got working on it now, they're mailing.
Yeah, so we typically do, our broader process when working on accounts. The inquiries are different. It's a completely different process. They attach to your credit report through the bureau algorithms totally differently, but as far as the accounts, we do the initial rounds online, unless we can't get in for some reason. Sometimes people come to us after and this isn't saying this is you, I'm just giving an example why we wouldn't be able to do it online. Some people come to us in situations where they may have claimed fraud before they came to us. Some people think, that's some kind of an aggressive way to get accounts off, and it isn't. And they've done that, and what it ultimately ends up happening is it ends up locking up the online dispute portal. So then we have to nail the first round, but I'd say 90% of the time we do the initial round online, and then if we don't get everything off, we typically see how the first round comes back, and based upon our broader system, we make the determination the second round gets done online, or depending on the kind of success we had in the initial round, if we see something else, it may get uploaded or done in another means. But yes, initially we typically do it online, and a lot of your collections are medical collections, so a lot of them typically do not hang around long, because when they submit medical collections for bureaus to report, they do so with limited information. I don't know if you know, but it's been a debate for a long time to not even have medical collections be allowed to report in the first place. But they do, and they still are. But as a result of that, the information that's attached when submitting them over is limited. It's not like a typical credit account. When they submit typical credit accounts over to the bureaus, they do so with an influx of information that can allow these accounts to attach to the report, and do so solidly, so the creditor doesn't have to worry about them coming off, unless somebody goes in to try and remove them and they know what they're doing. The medical collections are different. So, if it's done appropriately, they should come off relatively quickly. For the reasons I'm explaining, it shouldn't be this long, drawn-out, endless scenario for medical collections. There's other collections that can be cumbersome, right? But because of what I was explaining, the medical collections typically aren't that way.
Well, I was thinking the same thing, that like you said, they shouldn't even be on there, because whenever I got hurt, I couldn't even walk, much less goddamn work and pay a bill. So, and I can't get a vehicle right now, because every time they check my Equifax, they see 8 fucking collections on it. And they're like, oh no, we can't do nothing. It's like, what the fuck, man? Yeah.
Well, I said, if you remember when we were emailing after I reviewed everything, I said that was the first thing that stuck out. I'm like, sure you don't want us working on this too? Because although you do have a lot of inquiries, the accounts are, especially for a car, right? Because right now auto financing is like the low hanging fruit. It's some of the easiest financing you can get. They'll tax you on the rate. They'll go up to 20%. Some of these places just to get you in a car. which does you no good other than just having a car, even though you're getting gouged. But the point I'm trying to make is that as a result, if you get those negative accounts off even before the inquiries, even if we would have just removed the collections and not the inquiries, I think you would have put yourself in a better position. But ultimately, you would have needed to get the inquiries down anyway if you wanted to do anything meaningful with your credit. You know what I mean? So you're doing it. You got one guy working one way, we're working the other way. So hopefully, by the time we get done the inquiries, maybe they'll wrap up. I don't know how long they've been kind of toying around with it, but it does look like there's a good amount left.
Yeah, I've had Lexington Law fucking with it since July.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They're just bullshitting around trying to collect that monthly bill.
Right.
The monthly payment.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the rug. That's kind of the tough spot when a company charges monthly, right? Because it really, when you're a client and it takes longer, you're sitting back and you're trying to weigh the sincerity of the process, right? Because you think about it. I mean, this is why we don't do it that way. I mean, we do it based on a formula that we have that we use, and how long we determine that it's going to take. And if it takes longer, then it costs us money, right? And it's motivation for us to try and get it done in the time that we hit or sooner, because then the sooner we get it done, the more money we make for ourselves. So
that's what attracted me. That and the fact that y'all responded to the email within like 10 minutes. I was like, it ain't bullshit. So that's why.
Communication is really big in this business, right? I mean, you're trying to develop trust with people from a distance. And, the reality, the only way you can really develop trust, other than the results that we provide and the depth and the knowledge that we bring to the table, is just to show people that you're there when you need them, right? They can reach out and get in touch with you, and they're not waiting 3 days to hear back and things like that. I mean, that can start to make people's mind wander, which can start to get people running, in their head. And that's the last thing you want to do. You want to be a nice, comfortable, transparent, communicative environment that once things get done and the results are there, then you move on to the financing if you need our help with that. I mean, we kind of take clients from A to Z, meaning getting them in the door, helping them out with the credit, and then walking them through any financing they need help with. And we typically include the financing into the cost of the service. So, for instance, if a client came to us, like in your case, you came to us for the increase, and we can definitely help you, line you up with auto financing after. You're just not telling me about the auto financing. I didn't know that was an immediate need, but that's fine. We can easily line you up after. We don't charge extra for that if you're an existing client. So if you're somebody that came to us and we clean the report up and then you need to go get funding, we typically, that's just part of the process, so we can ensure that you complete what you came for, right? So you don't come to us and we get you out of the 750 and then you go to some shark that just completely takes advantage of you on the financing side, which is ultimately going to put you back in the position you just came from, right? So, I mean, as the purpose of it all is to just make it a much more, by the time we kind of set you off on your own, you're in a position to where you're comfortable and sustainable. And then, unfortunately, if things come up down the line, that happens. But at least in the near term, you'll be able to run comfortably, barring any things unexpected if they occur.
Yeah. I don't know. I've heard people say that they won't, if I already got somebody working on the collection, that they don't want to mess with it. You know what I mean?
You mean at like the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's tough working on at the same time, because especially if you have two companies coming from conflicting areas, right? Like how they're disputing it.
Yeah.
I know how we dispute it. So, for instance, let's say I open up a dispute the second week of the month. Let's just say I open up a dispute the first week of January, right, to get these collections off, and there's already a dispute open. Or if I just literally open one and then they try to submit, the bureau is the only bureau that lets you open up multiple disputes at one time relating to the accounts is Equifax. And I don't know why they do that, but they do that. TransUnion doesn't let you open up a second dispute for the same accounts. Neither does Experian. So we would essentially be fighting to try and wean in there to get that actual dispute that's going to help you. Understand what I mean? And it would end up being a mess that would probably not be in your best interest, which would be the ultimate goal of the process, right? Not to figure out a way to get my stuff in quicker so that my dispute gets registered rather than theirs. So, I mean, yeah, I think just for that reason, it definitely would not be wise, I think. But at the same time, I mean, if you've been with him since July and you're not happy, you should definitely evaluate that. I mean, it is a monthly cost, and if I don't know what you started with relative to where you're at now. And I don't want to talk badly about any other companies, but I would just say that if you're not seeing anything and you're standing still after, like, with no progress on any of the other bureaus and none of the collectors are coming off the ones there, and you've been sitting there for 6 months, I think that there's probably, you probably need to get your rep, whoever your account rep is, with them on the phone and just, have a conversation, because, I mean, it could easily turn into 6 more months. And if you're not understanding why it's taking longer, or you're not getting any kind of a clear understanding of what's disrupting it, I mean, the last thing you want to do is just blow more money waiting for something to come around.
It's only been 2 removed off of TransUnion since, they started. And if you look at the report that you pulled, you go on Equifax, 4 of those accounts are paid off. You know what I mean? They're just sitting there with a 0 balance. So I don't see what the hell why they wouldn't just take them. I mean, there's no more money left in it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know how Lexington Law disputes accounts. I know each area has a different regional attorney that handles the stuff, and it's not one unified approach that they take. So I don't know why in this particular instance, whoever the one that handles that region would take longer on this. I just don't know. There's so many different variables that could come into play, but I would just say that, look, any of us that do credit, I mean, we should be held accountable for what we're doing, right? I mean, we're providing a service. It's like if you hire somebody to come out and cut your grass, the grass is terrible. You want them to hold you accountable, right? I mean, if they're not doing their job right, you should let them know and let them try and rectify it or do their best. If they're doing their best and they can't get anywhere, then maybe it's just not the right fit. But if it's a situation where you're seeing progress and it's just not moving as fast for whatever reason, you should at least get an understanding of why they feel like that's the case, to give you a better understanding for yourself, just for peace of mind, right? It's like any other service you provide. It's just credit happens to hold a lot of significance in today's modern society, right? As far as anything that you need to do and how you're going to run your life, 80% of this country runs their life on credit. So without it, without it, it's a problem in most cases. So, I mean, I would definitely have a conversation. I mean, we're more than happy to help you there if you needed to help, but if not,
tell you what, I'm going, because I won't have the extra money. I don't know how much y'all charge, but I would like you to look at it and at least email me the price. That way I can have it on record. And by February the 15th, I get paid on the 15th and the 31st of each month. If they ain't done nothing, I'm going to cancel. I'll cancel right there at the end of January. And then by the 15th, I'll contact you and we can go ahead and start on it.
That's what I said.
Two of them gone. I mean, I feel like they might just be bullshitting around.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, at the very least, you should. I don't know how well they communicate. I don't know anything about them from a logistical perspective.
I mean, every time, the thing I don't like is every time you call, you talking to somebody different. So they don't have a steady caseworker. It's like if I call and talk to you, ask for John, I talk to you, there's chaotic. It seems chaotic, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just it's much more impersonal, right? It's not you don't know if you're even getting the right answer, and I can understand how it can be frustrating, especially if you feel like you're being strung along. So I would just try to get a perspective on what exactly their opinion is and what's taking it so long, And now I'd love to give you some perspective. I just don't know why it would take, or what they're doing, or what in particular would be mitigating whatever it is, because I don't know the approach that they take. But I would say at least reach out to them and just try to get a little bit of a better understanding. But yeah, I mean, if you need us to help, we'd be happy to help you. Just let us know when, and we can give you a price in the meantime. And then, if you need us to help you down the line, just feel free to let us know. We'll obviously be working through the inquiries in the meantime.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. You got any other questions, Eric?
No, I mean, I'll be patiently waiting along. Like I said in the email, it's going to be at least, I said 6 months, because I really want the truck. I want about $50,000. I make good money, but I'm going to have to, you seen my credit, I'm going to have a hell of a down payment. Or maybe I'll settle.
You talking about for the car?
Yeah, it's
I mean, look,
$2,500.
Yeah, here's what I would tell you. I mean, first, I mean, it's it's terrible to put money down on a car. I mean, that's just something that, I mean, I know it's a means to an end, and if you need a car, it's an emergency, and it's what they're making you do in order to finance you, et cetera. I get it. But, I mean, if you get those collections off and Lexington Law does their job, once we get the inquiries off, you should be sitting somewhere in the sevens. You should have no problem if the income is there to sustain the car payment and getting the car. I mean, putting the money down on a car is not a requirement. It's not like a home. You know, the dealer might ask for money down, but it's irrelevant. We typically position clients so that we get them the approvals before they walk in the dealership. So they have the bank in their hand, essentially like cash, walking the dealership, like, and then you just haggle with them for price, right?
That'd be cool because the dealer don't give a damn.
No. It's one of the most a car dealership relationship, like finance manager to consumer relationship, one of the most predatory relationships that exists. And I don't know how it's not regulated more, but it is, because at dealerships they build in like a yield spread. You know what that is?
What's that?
So let's just say you go into a dealership and they run your credit. Obviously not right now, but let's say you're a 700 and they pump it into a system that essentially it's like a lending club system, you know, or like a lending tree where you put it in, you get a whole bunch of offers back, right? Yeah. Those offers to them are wholesale rates. So let's say they get 5 lenders that want your business and they quote you and say, Eric, to us is a 3.5% rate. They'll come back to you and size you up, and there's nothing to stop them from charging you 8%. If they think you may not understand exactly how finance works or the degree of finance or how good your credit is, they'll come in, they could take a tax you at 8%. You say, you know what, the bank came back, it's 8%. The problem is what ends up happening is they make that difference in yield spread. So let's say you were quoted 3.5%, right? And they charge you 8%. That's a 4.5% spread, right? They take that 4.5% on the sides of the loan amount for the car. So in your case, it would be $50,000, right? So that particular dealership now makes 4.5% on $50,000, which is another $2,300 that goes in their pocket when that transaction closes, right? The difference is for you, it costs much more than $2,400. The difference between 3% payment on a $50,000 loan over 60 months is, 3% to 8% is equivalent to about $300 or $400 a month difference, like $300 a month difference, which over the course of a year is $3,600, which over the course of 5 years is almost $20,000. So you see how terrible that is? You know what I mean? Like how awful that is when they make an extra $2,000 at the table and you pay an extra $20,000 over the life of the loan. It's absurd. I mean, it's disgusting, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, for the sake of our clients, what we typically do is we go in and we get them positioned so that they have the approval in their hand. They don't have to haggle. They don't have to sit there for 3 hours. They pick out the car. They give the dealer, the finance manager, the name of the lender that they've already set up. They provide the approval, and literally the finance manager and the bank work out the title and the tags and all that stuff, wire the money, et cetera, and you sign the papers and you drive out of there. So it's a much less predatory scenario when we get to that point with clients.
Yeah, well, I inquired about one. You seen a Dan Baden Chevrolet inquiry on there?
Yeah.
Motherfucker said $1,500 for a month. I could get you in there. I was like, man, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
$1,500 for a $50,000 car?
Yeah, a month, 15.
Yeah, so that would mean that they're charging you close to 19% interest.
Yeah. It's equal to, I think I added it up. It was like $90,000 by the time I paid it off.
Yeah. That's absurd though, right? I mean, that's crazy. It's crazy. And honestly, there's no laws that exist, which is crazy because after 2008, all these laws came into effect through Dodd-Frank and stuff to protect consumers. There's no laws in effect that they could propose any interest rate they want and then walk it back, right? Because most clients will be like, no, you know what, it's too high. And then, let me go back and check. And then somehow that 19 becomes 15, right? You know what I mean? Like they can somehow just pull it out of thin air and then the rate just drops. Well, that's them just dropping as a result of them cutting their yield spread.
Dina, I'm going to get to you in a few.
They went back on another lender
in Georgia, $1,500 a month. You know how big of a house you're going to get?
They're playing a game. But this is kind of the stuff we try to do for clients just to avoid that, right? I mean, because some people just aren't privy to it. Some people would have no reason to be privy to it, and some people just don't understand finance, right? So for all of those reasons, and just because I think it's a gross, the whole car dealership experience is just a gross representation of finance as a whole. I think it's just better for us when we walk them through and do it the right way, this way that, it's a sustainable scenario because credit is all about being able to sustain over the course of time, right? I mean, it's great to get into something and have a new car that's sparkly and stuff. But like you said, like you could have taken that $1,500 payment, right? Some people do because they're just like, wow, I get a $50,000 car. and I got the car I want to get. I'll figure out a way to make $1,500 work, and then 3 months into it, they can't afford it anymore, right? So it becomes a disaster, and you take a bad situation and you make it worse. And all the while, the dealership, they're still getting paid. The bank's the one that takes the hit on it. So, I mean, the dealership doesn't care. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's really important sometimes to just be aligned with the right people that are walking you down the right path, just to make
Toyota, Eastwood, Toyota,
right?
Lexus,
and sustain and work into
Honda.
a budget that you're prepared to kind of
or
fulfill.
Hyundai.
Yeah.
So, well, look, if you need our help, if they actually do their job and they finish their job, we'd be happy to kind of help you down that path once we finish up the inquiries and stuff. So just let us know if you need our help there too.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, if you want to go ahead and shoot me a price, hold it, look through it. I mean, or if you want to do it, if they get any more removed. But I mean, if it's like one or something like that, I ain't gonna sit here the whole, I got to get them gone. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think, I think, you make the determination when you think, hopefully they do their job because you're paying them and you paid them for a while. But you need to make the determination when you think enough is enough, or if you're not getting the right answers or whatever.
We're not rushing you guys.
And then we'll be
come
happy
on,
to
man.
help. We'll already be helping, so we just be incorporating into our process regardless.
all right.
All right?
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, Eric, it was a pleasure meeting you. We look forward to helping you, and we're going to try and get this done for you as soon as possible. We'll send that price over for the collections. And, if you got any questions in the meantime, don't hesitate to reach out. All right?
Yeah, John, stay on the line.
All right, thank you.
John, stay on the line. Don't go nowhere, John. Take care, Eric. Happy holidays.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right, John, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So he paying month to month. Some people, they pay month to month for credit repair, but yet they'll go and get a $50,000 car and pay $1,500 a month for how many months to just show off, have a car, and be up to their necks in payments.
He was actually. I mean, he even saw that. Eric saw that even as like, whoa, that's too much, Because I mean, you don't need to be a mathematician to arrive at 1,500 times 60 payments. It's $90,000. He's borrowing 50, so
that's crazy.
He's almost doubling up in 5 years. What he's and interest is front loaded, meaning if they were charging him 19% interest, the first 3 years of those payments would all go to interest. So the bank, literally any bank, it's just the way they do the yield curve, is that you pay almost all your interest on the front side of any mortgage, any loan, of whatever. So come year 3.5 on a 5-year loan, you'll start to just get into principal only. So the problem that comes into play with these high interest car loans is that people are making these, for instance, let's just say you took this $1,500 payments. You would have been making 3 years of $1,500 payments. I bet the principal would have dropped down maybe 10%. So
they can always refinance after 6 months, though, right? But what happens?
No, they can't, because the problem is that most of the time when you're going that high, when you go into a dealership, you're typically paying retailer over. Most auto lenders will lend up to 110% of the value of the vehicle. Okay, that's the most they can lend. That's the way their formulas are set up. So when you go in, a lot of times you're financing over 100% once they roll in the tax and fees. Okay, so after 6 months, if you're making $1,500 payment, that's $9,000 worth of payments, right? You would think would naturally lower the overall balance. The problem is that if you're heavy interest, it's all going to interest. So you may not be able to get out of it because there's no lender that will lend over 110% of the value. Now, you've also driven it off the lot, and let's just say in the course of 6 months, you put a couple of that. Let's say you're putting 1,200 miles a month on it. That's 7,200 miles you'll put on in 6 months. It's going to lose value because cars depreciate. Other than boats, they're the most rapidly depreciating asset you can identify. So I'm saying that no, it's not probable. If they had a low interest rate, then yeah, it's possible because a large majority of those initial payments are going to go towards principal, even with the interest being front loaded. But when you have high interest, you see it all the time. They can't get out of it. It's not sustainable. They can't get out of it. There's no lender that's going to refi it because there's no equity in the car, even enough to smidge in there. So that's why it's so important to buy at the right price. Otherwise, you end up setting yourself up for a situation that's almost possibly unsustainable. I mean, it's just not realistic. So that's why, it's something that is for years. I mean, we've talked about this before, but I mean, this has been going on forever, and it's just I'm constantly on the phone with dealers for clients, just arguing with them, like, what is wrong with you people? I mean, the reality is that it's the most predatory environment that you could possibly imagine.
So, John, if they can't refinance, what are they gonna have to do? Like,
they let it go.
No. But let's say we got a customer like the guy in Michigan, McKinley, right? Where he was paying for 2 vehicles 15%, but then he went and traded in. Can he get out of that by trading in the car or no?
Well, it's kind of a loaded question. So yeah, you can, as long as the negative amortization, they can roll into a new car. Yeah, because essentially what's happening is your overage versus what the dealership will take the car back for. So let's say 6 months after you buy the $50,000 car, let's just say 6 months from there, they determine the car. You go to the dealer, try and trade it in to get a new car, and the dealer says, we'll give you 40 for it, knowing you owe 52, right?
Correct.
And that's a $12,000 negative AM, right? Negative amortization that you have sitting there, deficiency balance. They take that and roll that into the new loan. Well, not all the cars, that means that they'd have to mark down the car that's being purchased in order to fit that $12,000 in, plus taxes, titles, and tags, and keep it under 110% of the value of the car, right? Which is very difficult.
It's a mess.
So, what's that?
It's a mess.
It's a complete mess, and it can be prevented is the point, right? Like, you can prevent it, A, with a little bit of willpower, but B, just going in and being tactical about it. You don't have to have A+ credit to go in and know what you're doing and not get taken advantage of at a car dealer. You just need to know what you're doing and come in prepared and just not allow them to take advantage when you can make it happen. But yeah, otherwise it ends up being, that's what I was saying to him, it ends up being a mess if it's not done right, especially these instances, because the dealership walks away unscathed. They facilitate the loan, they sell the car, they make the money on the sale of the car, they make the money on the financing, they make the money on whatever, transfer fees that they can try and take out of the client's pocket. And then whether the client lasts 15 minutes with that loan or 15 years, it's irrelevant to them. They don't care because it wasn't ever on their books, and that car's off their lot. They made their money, and now it's the bank's responsibility. So they just keep pumping these trash loans out left and right. And because the banks need to roll these loans over, because the auto loans are high interest loans relative to, you see mortgages now and things like that, the high interest element of it, with the fact that there's an asset associated with it, allows them some protection. So they lend aggressively on the car side of things, good, bad, or indifferent. So, it's something that the bank needs to do. But from the borrower's perspective, they have the ability to be a little more tactical, though, if they're kind of guided properly.
I got a question from on my YouTube live right now from William Gordon. He said, just a heads up, Gizzy, I still haven't received anything from Equifax in the mail yet. I started near the end of October, and I've been getting TransUnion and Experian updates by email.
Yeah. So I got to go back and look. I think his Equifax was what we weren't able to set up. And I think he and I emailed about this not that long ago, but I think the issue that he was having was, I think he had a different address that was listed on Equifax. Okay. I got to go back and look, and I'll email him when we get off.
Okay. And Luis Mejia, who was working with another YouTuber, the awesome life group, he says that they suck. But he also sent me a text that he didn't receive, you sent him an email, like I think Tuesday, and he deleted it by mistake. If you could resend it. I don't know what was that email about.
Yeah, I think it was probably just a request update, but I'll send it again to him.
Okay, Luis, just to update your 3 bureaus. Yeah. And we started recently taking Georgia customers again. For how long now, John?
Probably inside of a year.
Like 6. Well, inside of a year.
It's been a slow crawl though, because a lot of Georgia customers knew we weren't taking them, so we're not getting inundated with as many as we did in the past. So,
which is fine. We're not trying to get just anybody from that state.
Right.
And the people who had started a year ago, they were actually referrals from people who had started the process with us. So those we take. The referral customer, because the referral customer is going to say to us, hey, or is going to say to them, I know the process. These people are the real deal. This is what they're going to do. So they're educated on how we work, and they're patient. They know what to expect. But just
we're not. I think it's. Look. I think the bottom line and the problem we had early on in Georgia was just the fact that there was a point in time. I don't know why it was specifically isolated to Georgia.
Correct.
But for a period of time back in 14 and 15, there was just a lot of craziness that was going on in that area. And, you know, a lot of the clients that happened to come through there were concentrated from that area that we had problems with. And this is a long process, you know, getting people right. It's a lot of work on our end that goes into it. And the last thing you want to have to do is not be able to trust the consumer, but have to constantly be arguing with clients. Nobody wants to do that. I mean, you do this long enough, you realize that, you know, if you can't have a comfortable environment to work in and be able to trust the client be able to trust you and have open lines of communication, and them knowing that you're doing this within their best interest, I mean, it makes it very difficult for it actually to prosper, right? I mean, we have the clients that we typically come to us now, like Dante, are ones that have come from referrals, or they've been watching you forever and they've earned that level of trust. Then we just reinstill that trust with all the other stuff when we start working, right?
Correct.
So it's a large, you know, it's a large amount of trust that goes into this entire process on both sides that we help to facilitate. Now, we have started working, like you said, originally with the Georgia clients. We started working them back in through referrals, and they've all been great. So, I mean, I have no complaints. I don't know if it was just isolated at that period of time, you know, and maybe there was just a lot that was going on there at that time. But the ones we've had since then have been great. I have no complaints. So, I mean, I see no reason to stop, you know, bringing them through. And, I mean, we didn't do it because we were like, no, we don't want to deal with Georgia. It was because in that calendar year, we had some real problem people that came out of Georgia that came through to us. And we said, look, it's too concentrated to this area. We're just going to take a breather because there's just too many issues coming out of the people coming from there for some reason, which we still, I don't think I've ever figured out. But whatever it is,
I don't know. I don't know. It's probably too much. I don't know, because we will get professional people who are like, you know, professional people, and then we'll get your normal, you know, ghetto ass people who call us, which we don't have a problem helping everyone out. But at the same time, both of those characters were you know, not patient, you know, wanted fast credit repair results. And, you know, I guess
I mean, I think, you know, I think the good thing that's gone on over the last 4 or 5 years, more than anything, is that a lot of the weak hands have been weeded out in this business, right? So the people that were running it out of their garage or their basement, or doing it as a side job, just filing all kinds of nonsense, and promising results in 15 minutes, a lot of those guys have been shaken out, right? They didn't last, they've been shut down, whatever the case may be. So in large part, most of the people that know what they're doing that are left actually know what they're doing. I'm not saying all of them, because there's one sprouting up every day, but the ones that really do volume know what they're doing, and they know how to do it, and they have a process much like us. And, you know, I don't know if they're as good as us, but whatever the case may be, they know what they're doing. So I think back then there was just a lot of people representing themselves as you know,
experts,
and it caused a lot of confusion, and it confused the expectations that people walked in with, right? When you're a guy who's in your ear, like, I can get it done, definitely guaranteed, all 3 bureaus, 15 days. Which is absurd to be able to guarantee to anybody, right? You can't guarantee that, because you don't know until you get into the file exactly what's happened. And there's no way to guarantee. It's just not that kind of a service. It doesn't matter how good you are at it. You just can't guarantee 15 days all 3 bureaus will be done. There's just no way to be able. You wouldn't, even if you were exceptional and every first round you got done with a client, you wouldn't be able to control if it's done in 15 days. I mean, there's just so many things that, you know, that were just misrepresented during that period. And I think, again, as people, as a society, I think as people become more familiar with the idea that credit repair is real, because even 4 or 5 years ago, people thought it wasn't even real, you know? So now that it's real and people see that it actually works and that it actually helps people get from goal to goal, then they start to see what's a realistic expectation, and they're able to kind of weed through the company they want to work with that matches their goals. And hopefully you would think it seems the most sincere and legitimate, right? Not just cost related, because I know a lot of people shop with their wallets, you know, but at the same time, I mean, you get what you pay for at the same time. So I think it's important for people to just look at this from a realistic perspective, not like a total, you know, the best, you know, just look for the cheapest person. I'll tell you what you want to hear, because that's not ever the right way to do it.
I know we're almost for an hour here, but I have another question. This person, Dina Jones, is asking, my credit isn't that great. Should I buy out, or do pay here, pay there? Oh, damn. I don't know what happened there. All of a sudden, John hung up on me. I don't know. It's probably his battery went low. Let me see. Or I'll probably get another text from a lot of people. I don't know where I lost you. No, that's fine. This person is asking the question. My credit isn't that great. Should I buy out or do pay here, pay here? I don't kind of understand that question. But
should they do a buyout or pay? I don't know if maybe they're trying to do like a pay for delete. Maybe that's what they're kind of referencing. But
yeah, pay for delete.
You got to understand something. The pay for delete is I mean, that is not just like a given. You know, I mean, it's not like you're just like, all right, well, if I pay, I'll negotiate and they'll take it off. It's rare. I mean, you're seeing it randomly now. With some bigger companies like Portfolio Recovery and Midland Funding, you're seeing them now offer it if it's an older debt that may be aged off. But typically speaking, I would say a small percentage of the time is if it's a fresh debt, they're not going to do it pay for delete. It just doesn't happen. It's just not a given that's how it happens. And it can happen. I'm just saying it's not something that you should just bank on happening for every account. So there should be an approach if you're going to walk into it for each and every account you have on there. And I mean, you can definitely call each collection company and see if they're willing to work that out. But I think the misnomer that sometimes comes with people is that people think that there's a, you know, as we all know, there's a large difference in just financial education. So some people think when you just pay collections, it should be removed from the credit. They don't understand that you actually have to negotiate that as part of it, is that you have to negotiate the actual removal in lieu of payment. And I couldn't tell you the amount of clients I talked to. They're like, yeah, well, I paid that collection. I should be on. I'm like, no. That stays on there for another 7 years. So you have to either get it removed or you have to negotiate that before you pay it. And I think that leads people in the wrong direction. So,
and they actually re-ages the account, you think? Or you know it happens?
When you pay it?
Yeah.
It shouldn't. But I mean, look, you gotta understand, these bureaus are run algorithmically, right? I mean, Experian is the biggest bureau in the entire country, entire world.
I thought it was Equifax. Is it Equifax the most popular one in down south?
In just by assets, you're talking about Experian is, I think they made a couple $2 billion last year.
Yeah.
Experian only has 10,000 total employees. 10,000. The worldwide population is almost 8 billion people. The United States population is 400 million, and they have 10,000 employees. So that should tell you don't have somebody looking at everybody's file.
Correct.
It's all run through an algorithm. It's all run algorithmically. That's why when everything happened with the breach with Equifax back in 2017, they still haven't told anybody what happened.
No.
They still don't know how it was exposed. They still don't know the extent of who was exposed, where, how, etc., because everyone was exposed. And the only way they would be able to do that is by adjusting an algorithm that they can't adjust. They can't adjust it anymore. They can tweak it. They can add little blibs and blabs to it, but they can't change it definitively, because if they did, it would have to shut down the credit system. And you can't shut down a credit system that operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right?
Yes.
So there'd be no way for them to make those kinds of adjustments. So the point I'm trying to make is that when you look at some of these broader things, like as far as the reporting and stuff, sometimes these algorithms re-age inadvertently. It's real entered into how that particular creditor submits the payment, right? So if you went and paid a collection company, and if you ever notice when collection companies take payments, they say, you know, on a recorded line before we accept this payment, your name is X, you live at Y, your social is Z, etc., right?
Yeah.
And then you're making a payment for $200 to pay off, you know, Midland Funding collection account, blah, 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 right?
Correct.
That's how they pop it into eOscar and submit it to the bureaus, right? So it's possible in some cases if the individual that's submitting it does so incorrectly, it could re-age it, but it shouldn't re-age it. And if for some reason it does re-age it, because it doesn't, the technicality there exists that if it does re-age, it's not allowed to re-age because it's based on 7 years from the date of the first negative, right? On the primary account. And then if it's a collection account, 7 years from the reporting of the account, right?
Correct.
So whether you make a payment or not is irrelevant. I mean, whether you don't make the payment or whatever, they can only stay on there for 7 years when it reports in the first place. So it has no bearing. You understand what I mean? So if for some reason they see that it's re-aged, that needs to be disputed because it's not applicable. I mean, these are firm laws. These aren't like subjective to like opinion.
Correct. Okay.
So I don't know if I answered that woman's or the man's question.
No, buy here, pay here. She says pay here, buy there, Gizzy. I don't know what it pertains to. I don't know if it pertains to a collection.
Maybe she means like as a way of financing things, buy here, pay here, like almost like a car financing company that'll do any credit. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. Pay here, buy there, Gizzy. Yeah. For a vehicle. I mean, that's the same thing, right? Aren't they charging you interest too?
Oh, they're charging you insane interest. That's probably the most insane interest that you get, but that's because they're willing to take anybody with any kind of credit.
Correct.
And then they turn around and they'll sell the factoring of the account. So like they'll sell it to like some high interest buyer that'll buy it and they'll have to service it, whatever. And that obviously that's not a solution either, though.
No.
I mean, that's a more unsustainable solution than the one that Eric had earlier. I mean, they're just not sustainable. I mean, it's great because in some cases you get to write off the interest on your car and you get to depreciate it for tax purposes. But
correct.
As far as it being sustainable for somebody's budget, I mean, there's no way. I mean, that's a means to an end, right? I mean, in those situations, in a lot of cases, it doesn't really end well. That's why they charge so much interest, because if 1 out of every 4 of them fail and they're charging 25% interest on them, they still make out like bandits, right? In the grand scheme of things, if 1 of them works or 2 of them work, whatever, they make money 10 times over, even if the default rate's high. So for the client, it's terrible. For the consumer, for the lender, it still works. It's like the school loan thing, like the deficiency, the default rates on school loans, blended are like 25%, but they're making so much money on the other 75% that they can just chew up that 25%. Does nothing to them.
Correct. And we're going to have a video series of educational videos for you guys. Student loans, purchasing a vehicle, a home. John is a real estate investor. Has been, 300 properties you've probably flipped. John is
a lot,
avid in finance. That's all we do. That's all we get involved with. But anyways, I know you got to go, John. We don't have any more questions here on YouTube Live. Tomorrow, we're going to be live again for another testimonial of someone who got started and got results. So we're going to be doing more of these YouTube Lives. And, we're not going anywhere, celebrating 10 years of doing this, 10 years plus doing this. And it's about time that we both get on the phone and educate you guys on how this works. Anything else you want to say, John?
No, I'm good, man. Happy holidays, everyone.
You got it. All right, cool. So, okay, John, see you later, bro.
Bye.
All right, bye. Okay, my people. So, so make sure you like the video. That's the only way we're going to be getting paid or some type of monetary thank you. You thank us by clicking the share button or clicking the like button. And I just want to say thank you so much for doing that. Thank you so much for just being on. I know a lot of you are current credit repair customers or new people, or you haven't yet got the funds to get started with us and you want to start with us. So Danica, thank you so much. Danica, you were helping people with their credit and now you're teaching. So you got to put to yourself, you're still doing something good for people. You know what I'm saying? Because doing teaching job, that's not easy itself. Doing credit repair, teaching, you're dealing with students, probably kids who are younger than 18 years old. I don't know what you teach, if you are a professor or something, or if you teach, kids, in grammar school or high school. But I'm pretty sure that's less less of a headache than dealing. Oh, first grade. Come on, you're dealing with first grade. I know that's easy. Look, I'm a stay-at-home dad, so I know it's not easy with the kids. But check this out. Dealing with people with their credit, like my partner said, this is an emotional process. Okay, we as the credit repair people got to deal with the bureaus. On top of that, we have to deal with the personalities of these people who are so emotional about their credit that it becomes, we got people who get aggressive with us, and we're over here with a team. We're trying to help you out. You know what I mean? So I have another question right now. I have a question. Should I buy a car through a dealership that only reports to only Equifax, and my credit union says they only use TransUnion to looking to buy a house next year? What do you think? Okay, look, Marvin, you have to think to yourself, what's the most important thing for you right now? Let's say you go out and finance a vehicle. Well, and you say, okay, in a year and a half from now, I want to go and buy a house, but I want to get this vehicle. What type of vehicle do you want? Do you want a high end? Do you want a used car? Do you want a lease? For how long do you want to lease? For how long do you want this car to be on your credit report for? Because when it comes time to you buying that house, they're going to look into what you owe on your credit report. And if you have a lot of debt, it'll go into how much they could finance you. as far as either you're going to get $150,000 house because you got too much debt, or if you don't have any debt but you have good credit, you could end up purchasing a $250,000 home. You know what I'm saying? So you got to see what's the most important to you. You could chill in a Toyota, or I don't know, what type of lifestyle you want to you over there living. You know what I'm saying? I don't ever tell people, don't question their hustle. You know what I mean? Because even if they want a Benz or they want a used car, a Toyota or a Honda, it's like I tell you, it's like, listen, you can have whatever, but if you want to think logically, be like, all right, cool. If I get a $6,000 car that's gonna take me from here and there, and I keep it nice and clean, I'm gonna be chilling. But if you lease or finance a $30,000 vehicle, when it comes time for you purchasing that house, they're gonna look into how much money you owe on that house and your monthly payment, and that goes into your income minus your expenses. See what's left to purchase a home for a payment. So that's something that you got to think about. That how are you? I'm cheap. I go and buy a used car. What? $5,000, $4,000 car? I buy myself a Lincoln Town car or a Toyota Corolla. Seriously, I don't like that. If people just love being in debt and love chilling and live in a nice place, but it's up to you and what you want to do and what type of hustle you have for you to work for everything that you have in life. But I hope that answers your question. But check this out. Another thing you said. Equifax only credit union, right? You said that only reports on my Equifax and my credit union says they only use TransUnion. They only use TransUnion to pull your credit report. Okay, they're gonna go that credit union only pulls your credit report from TransUnion, but once it reports and you start paying on it, it could report to all three bureaus. Because that's what happens when you go to an Equifax credit union. When you go and get a lender that only runs Equifax, they're only going to run your Equifax credit report to finance you. But when it reports on your credit bureau, that they report on all three. We see it all the time. I hope that answers your question. Absolutely. And why do people come to you when they actually need it, like life and death? I hated that. Well, that's the thing, is that people are emotional about it, Danica. I tell people all that. This is why I don't sell credit repair. I can't tell people, look, fix your credit. I'm going to sell credit repair. No, people only need their credit, want credit when they need it. That's why I do these videos, because they could see me every day. They see me on Instagram. They see me on Facebook. You see me live here. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. I got somebody that can go fix my credit. I got somebody that can go fix my credit. And they leave it off for years. Like the testimonial from, the first person that we had a conversation with, he waited a year, because people always look at you like, does he really know what he's doing? This and that. And that's why for us, we stay constantly every day, but do credit repair. This is what we do. This is what we do. Now I got 10 years doing this. So my claim to fame now is I got 10 years doing this. You reaching out to us. You know what I'm saying? But I hope that answers your question. Yeah, they don't understand. It's continuous lifestyle. Correct. You have to be on it every month, like your bank account, in my opinion. But you are right. That's the whole thing. And a lot of people you're going to deal with that in this credit repair process, they don't, they're in a situation where they can't actively do something about it. So they fix their credit, right? While they're fixing their credit, we as the credit repair people have to take a stand for that customer and tell the customer, look, you paid into this, you paid into us educating you, positioning you to do what you got to do. Don't give up. So that's my job. It's like fucking psychologist. It's like, I'm like, yo, be positive. Light a candle or something. Pray. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do our job, but just be patient with the process. I love that you guys are in it for the long. You guys are awesome. Yo, it's 10 years plus doing this. I can't go anywhere without people calling me GizzyCredit, GizzyCredit, GizzyCredit. So I'm not going anywhere. I could probably do something else, the trade lines or real estate investing, which is what I'm getting into. But most definitely, I'm here for you guys. I know it's been over an hour. Some of you are still on. Thank you for the like button. Again, I'll be back here tomorrow live with another GizzyCredit Testimonial. Thank you so much for watching. If you want my info, text message me your email address to 973-440-8661, or you can definitely leave a comment below with your email address. I'll send you my how to start credit repair info and let you know how you guys could get a quote for the service. All right. Me and my partner, John, we love educating people. And now it's time for you guys to see us here at least once a week, hopefully every day when it comes time to people starting credit repair process. I hope you learned something. If you like what you heard, like the video and share it. That's the best way you can do it. Thank you so much. See you later. Merry Christmas. And that's it. We out. Peace.